Hello, I'm Grim and welcome to the first build request of the year, in which I take a swing at building one of Batman's Batmobiles. No one actually specified in the comments which one they wanted me to build, and though I've already built the Tumbler once before, it was long before this channel and it was utter garbage, so I figured I would take another crack at it. The Tumbler from the Dark Knight Trilogy is probably not my favourite Batmobile. That would probably have to either go to Adam West's Batman or the Batmobile from Batman the Brave and the Bold, but the Dark Knight's Tumbler is almost certainly equal first as far as coolness goes, up there with the one from Batman the Animated Series. Now, due to my experience with having tried to build this vehicle once before, I went into this build with the knowledge of some of the troubles I would encounter, not least of which being the wheels, which were always going to be a total pain. You see, if you actually look at the Tumbler in Batman, the wheels at the front are connected on the sides, not the top, and so you can't simply use the monster truck wheels as you normally would, because it would look really quite silly. You can do it at the back, just not at the front. Now, this presents a larger problem than you might think, because the obvious solution to this would be to just have them lie down, but the problem with this is that when they are laying down, they don't interact with the game as they really should. They fall through the floor a little bit, and they don't seem to be powered properly, and really they're overall pretty darn useless. I tried all sorts of shenanigans to try to get it to work properly, tried spawning them facing downwards and having them lock into place with tow bars, which would have almost certainly worked, but I just didn't have the time to work out the kinks for it. Then I tried having the vehicle spawn upright and drop down, but the problem with that is, regardless of what you do, one of the sets of wheels are going to still be spawning sideways, so in the end, I just gave up and went with the lazy route. Namely, there's a super wheel hidden between the two wheels at the front, which is set to driving and steering. The two big wheels at the front are set to steering, and they sort of just add balance and look aesthetically pleasing, and the wheels at the back are the main driving force of the vehicle, also set to steering and driving. After that was worked out, it was just a matter of getting the elevation right in order that the wheels at the back would look bigger and to give the entire vehicle its classic wedge shape. Then once the functionality and overall shape was pretty much there, I went about doing what the world of 3D modelling calls greebling, which is essentially just gluing random junk on the vehicle to make it look a bit more detailed and to make it look a bit more interesting. I wasn't too choked up about making it entirely accurate. To do so would be impossible what with the size limit, and also you can't make the vehicle too large, as it would make the monster truck wheels comparatively look far too small, so I was more aiming just to give it that recognisable look. In the same scope of this goal of going for the look, but knowing that I can't achieve 100% accuracy, the back of the vehicle, for those of you who have seen the Dark Knight Trilogy enough, would notice is not quite entirely there. The Tumbler, of course, has 4 wheels at the back and 2 wheels at the front. However, unfortunately, mine only has 2 wheels at the front and still just 2 wheels at the back. This is for one very simple reason: the hitbox on the monster truck wheels is far too large, and you simply can't put 4 next to each other without it looking too spaced out and just looking utterly ridiculous. And so unfortunately, I had to make the sacrifice and drop it down to 2. It just simply looked better that way. Then for the 2 final additions, I added the jet engine at the back, which in the film is for a boost, but in the game is always working, and so to try to achieve the functionality that jet engine would usually deliver in the film, I also added in a spring engine for that extra little boost. I'm not going to explain how that works again, I've already done a video on the spring engine, but there it is in the vehicle working if you were to take the top off. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to add other functionalities such as weapons, or being able to split off the bat cycle from it. It's definitely doable, I believe, but as I said, unfortunately, I just didn't have time to get to it. And so there you have it, the Batmobile from the Dark Knight Trilogy, the Tumbler, in Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. Much like many of these vehicles, it's not the most maneuverable, and it's definitely not the most practical, but it does look darn cool. And if you want this vehicle in your own save, when I stop talking in a moment, there'll be the layer by layer of it, and so feel free to watch that and copy it into your own save. If you do so and manage to get the bat cycle working, I'd love to see a video of it. And with all of that said and done, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grim Grindle.